It has been a Cinderella season for the boys in green, the Indians of Choctawhatchee. But to win a state championship today, they're going to have to go through the Seahawks of Cape Coral. The Class 4A title is on the 9, next on Bright House Sports Network.
From the University of Tampa, this is Florida High School Athletics Association State Championship Soccer.
A championship Saturday on the campus of the University of Tampa, and a 4A title on the line between the Indians of Choctawhatchee and the Seahawks from Cape Coral. Good afternoon, everybody. Great to have you with us. I'm Drew Felios, thrilled for the first time along with the Bright House crew to bring you the state soccer championships. This afternoon, Class 4A decided, and some great games in the semifinals on Thursday. You had Choctawhatchee coming out taking on a Belen Jesuit team. Belen Jesuit with the serious crowd advantage, but Choctaw got 2 goals from their star, Ricky Hogue, and the Indians advance with a 2-0 win. And in the other bracket, Cape Coral taking on Celebration. It was an all-out blitz by the Seahawks. Cape Coral, an outstanding team, very well balanced. They beat Celebration by a score of 4-0. No problem with Celebration in the semifinal. So I'm joined now by our soccer expert, former international star Eddie Rodriguez. And Eddie, on one side, you got a great player in Hogue for this Choctaw team. On the other side, with this Cape Coral team, almost like the United Nations of soccer. Every country seems to be represented.
Yeah, they do have quite a bit of Latin players, and you can actually tell the way they play. It's almost like they all play to the same rhythm, the Latin rhythm. And they actually knocked the ball around really well, and it showed yesterday on the scoreboard. They were able to score 4 goals yesterday.
Yeah, big-time stars on the field for Choctaw. They have got to get their best player, though, involved. His name is Ricky Hogue. He has set North Florida soccer on fire. Over 40 goals this year. How important is he to Choctaw's attack?
He is their answer. They need to find him early, find him quick right off the bat. He is a go-to man. He's their top gun.
As far as Andrew Gonzalez is concerned, a key defenseman, does he have to have a big game to try and offset Hogue?
Absolutely. He's a big guy, strong in the back, very resourceful. You can tell he leads out of the back. That's going to be the key matchup for the game.
All right, and as for those keys to the game, if you're Choctaw, it's pretty simple. You got to get your best player involved. Ricky Hogue is that guy. They'll be calling for him right at the start. And then the Latin influence, how can it affect this state championship game?
Well, the other thing we have to worry about is how the humidity and how hot, that's definitely going to be a factor, especially with a Latin team that can actually knock the ball around. They don't have to run as much. I think that's definitely going to be the key for them as well.
All right, an outstanding game. This should be Cape Coral taking on Choctawhatchee. Choctaw looking for their first state soccer championship ever. For them, they hope that this is their championship moment. The 4A title coming up next on Bright House Sports Network. Simply a gorgeous day overlooking the Hillsborough River in downtown Tampa. 2 places to be today if you're in the Tampa Bay area. Number 1 is the beach. Number 2 is right here at the State Soccer Championships. The lineup for Choctaw, the Indians, come into this championship with Trapper Chichik as their goalie. Look at Ricky Hogue. We talked about him in the open, along with Dominic Jordan. The forwards, the midfielders, Colton Bales, Michael Lightbourne, Josh Piovison, Derek Castellan, and the defensemen Tyler Thoreau, Andrew Morell, Walter Prater, and Stefan Quinton. And for Cape Coral, Daniel Villamil in the net. The forwards, Lopera, Kevin Lopera. Also got Ronald Lynn in there, Saul Amaral, Juan David Cano, Kevin Hurley, Andrew Gonzalez, Oliver Benedict, Ryan Harold also for Cape Coral. So Choctaw wearing the green uniforms, Cape Coral in the white. As the ball is out of bounds, Cape Coral mentioned the international flavor, Eddie, for the team in white. Here's the countries represented by Cape Coral: Haiti, Brazil, Switzerland, Peru, Colombia, the United States, England, and Germany. Wow. With so many diverse backgrounds,
hard to believe, Eddie, that they would get to this point and that they would mesh so well when it comes to soccer and the style of country you're from?
Well, not really, you know, especially when it comes down to the coaching. If you have a coach who can actually implement their style of play right off the bat, it doesn't matter what your background is, as long as you can actually stick to the system. A good coach is going to bring players in who are going to fit the system that he's trying to play. So as long as they're, you know, intelligent in the soccer game, technically sound, tactically sound, he can put a good team together. And actually yesterday we got a chance to see them, and they're very fluent in the way they move the ball around. You can tell they're very well coached, and they actually stick to the system.
Cape Coral is led by Aldo Nardiello, a club coach down in South Florida, a history teacher also at Cape Coral High School. He's done a great job with this team to get to this point. Number 8 is Kyle Amaral. And Eddie, you love number 8's game for the Seahawks.
Absolutely. It's big, strong forward who can hold the ball, but you know, not only that, but he's actually very technically sound, especially for a big guy. He posted really well yesterday. He had a couple of assists. He had the goal, actually, 2 goals if I'm not mistaken. He does a very good job, and he also leads his team. He's always yelling, he's always screaming, dictating where to go and what to do. I like that in him.
So Cape Coral starts as Amaral gets into position. Cape Coral has the wind here. It is blowing big time at Pepin Stadium. And it's blowing from north to south. Ball in the air, and a chance for the Seahawks. They take a shot just wide. Actually, the wind blowing from south to north. So it's coming from the south, blowing north.
It's actually a great corner kick. You can see he puts a spin on the ball, so away from the goalkeeper. Keeper comes out and totally misses the ball. You know, not a great strike from the midfielder, but they started doing a good job going forward.
Already crowned 2 state champions here this week. American Heritage getting it done in Class 2A, joining their girls team, which won last week. And then in Class 3A last night, a thriller. University wins in penalty kicks as they were able to take down a very gutsy Lake Highland prep team. But Eddie, we have not had a lot of goals so far in these championships. We've played 100 minutes of soccer, and we've only had 1 goal. The rest have come on PKs.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things we're missing in this tournament. You know, not a lot of goals. You know, great play, especially the game last night. It was definitely a thriller, as you mentioned. He went to the 9th round of the penalty kicks. So that's a lot of penalty kicks, but, you know, I would love to see more goals during this game, of course.
Well, it's up to the goalies. Let's see, Trapper Cechik and Daniel Villamil, 2 outstanding athletes. Villamil, a big target, 6'2", very tall, even as a youngster, has really grown into that body and has matured and blossomed for the Seahawks.
And that was the case last night, Drew. Goalkeepers did a tremendous job last night, and you know that was the key for both teams. Had a few chances, and goalkeepers came out big.
There's Kevin LaPera racing free. LaPera had a goal on Thursday for Cape Coral in that rout of celebration.
LaPera is another player for the Seahawks that does a great job going forward, especially with the ball at his feet. Very technically sound, very smart on the ball.
Good job controlling it by the Seahawks. Number 18 is Paulo Acosta, the senior, offering great leadership as Stefan Quinton gets it out of there, and now a swing taken. And with that wind whistling, Eddie, it's going to be tough for Trapper, who is an avid spear fisherman, I might add. That's a pretty good hobby to have, especially if you're a goalie. They always say you got to be a little crazy, right?
Yeah, you do. That's great, nice and relaxed. But you know what, Drew, it's actually okay right now. It's kind of windy because the weather today is definitely going to be a factor. It's 80+ degrees out here, and I'll tell you what, they're definitely going to feel it. Very white field, about 80, 82 yards by 110. This feels a lot bigger than what they're used to, so it's definitely going to be a factor. So the win right now, I'm sure they're okay with that.
There is Chris McDaniel, 7th season for Choctaw. Told his team, we are not headed to Tampa for a field trip. We want to win this state championship. And a key note, Eddie, this Choctaw team started the season 1-6. They were anything but a championship caliber team, and it was Coach Chris McDaniel that kept them together and really built off the losses rather than whining and saying, well, this just isn't our year.
Absolutely. We had a chance to talk to him yesterday too at the press conference, and he mentioned that at 1-6, you know, he had a meeting with the boys and said, you know what, it's really up to us. There's nobody else who's going to come in and help us and save us for that matter, and it's just a matter of going back to the basics and going to work. He also mentioned that this is a business trip. That's the way he classified it.
I don't know, though, for a lot of these teams, especially Choctaw, they've been playing in cold temperatures. With this beautiful weather here this weekend, and being in Tampa as Hogue shakes free, and Ricky Hogue scores the first goal of the game.
We talked about it. He was the key, and here it is. First shot they had, puts it away. Brilliant ball, far post. We're going to see it here in a second, the replay. Phenomenal finish. And that is why he's got 41 goals now. We see the ball played to the far post. Keeper comes out a little bit late. He jumps, heads the ball over. That's a great finish. Great sense of direction. Knew where the ball was going to be, anticipated, gained the back of the defense. That's a great finish.
So Eddie's key to the game holds true here in the early minutes. Get the superstar involved, and that's exactly what Choctaw did.
Get him the ball and get it to him early, and that's what he does best. 41 goals in the season. Great finishing job.
So Eddie, for the second time in 3 days, Choctaw has an early lead. They were able to do that with Bell and Jesuit. How important is it to come out and score that first goal?
Oh, it's huge, especially what he does for the team, what he does for the coaching staff. You know, now they can afford to play around a little bit. They don't have to go forward every time because they're up 1-0, you know, in only 10 minutes into the first game. So that's great, to the first half rather.
Prater with that left foot, trying to hook it in there. And here's Ricky Hogue on Thursday in that game against Belen Jesuit. First on the penalty kick, as Jesuit was called for a handball, and then Hogue able to cross it in with that left foot.
You know, Drew, he's one of those forwards who has the instinct. You know, we talk about those, they're far and few in between. You know, he knows where to be, the right time at the right place, and he's got tremendous one-touch finishing skills. He's just a great player.
And Eddie, he's going to Missouri State. I mean, this young man is going to be a star in the Midwest.
Absolutely. And he does everything tactically and technically what you want from a number 9, from a forward. You know, he's pretty strong as well. Not really tall, but you know what? He pushes his body around really well.
Another shot. Seahawks had a decent look at it, but unable to get a good piece. It was Ronald Lynn who also had a goal against Celebration, one of the blue-collar forwards for Cape Coral.
Well, Drew, you wanted goals. You got an early one. First 10 minutes of the game, and it was a great one, too.
Crowd into this soccer match as Hogue squares up for Choctaw. Our officials today, Mark Kaskren, Patch Gayers, Carl Hagerman, and Jason Kopopkin. Shot a little bit wide as Hogue took a swing again.
He's not afraid of shooting, that's for sure. And that's a trait of a good player. He comes and collects the ball, he checks, gets away from the defender, turns. Very crafty left-footed player. Lets it go from about 30 out. A little bit wide, but you know what? It's okay. You have to take your chances, especially when it comes down to shooting.
Is a left-footed striker like Hogue tougher to defend?
Not necessarily. You know, you just want to stand on his right side, so you know he's going to go to the left, to the right. You know his tendencies. As a defender, you have to study him.
Working his way in there. Amarillo centers it. Trouble for Choctaw, and now a swing. And just high. It will be a corner kick.
Now we see the Seahawks coming around, knocking the ball around. That's exactly what they need to do. Here we see a couple of combinations, crosses the ball. Forwards are a little late, but that's exactly what they need. They need to find the space in the back of the defense. They need to put passes together so they can get some shots in.
Here comes the left footer, Kevin LaPera, to take this corner kick. Watch it curve in the wind towards the goal. Makes that hook. Headed out of there, the shot is stopped. A lot of green jerseys in that area. And tied up as Amaral came over.
Corner kick, that's a decent job. Keeper comes out, that's what you want to do. You want to force a keeper to come out. Top of the box, he's got to do better with that shot on top of the box. He's got nobody around him. And here we see Amaral not afraid to throw his body around, although that was more of an elbow, but he gets called for it, so that's a great call by the ref.
Choctaw High School, if you're wondering exactly where it is located, it is in the city of Fort Walton Beach. Right near Niceville. Choctaw actually, Eddie, in the central time zone. So it's so far over in the panhandle that it's not in the eastern time zone.
That's a good cross. Timing from the forward, the run, hit a good run out of the back. A little bit off.
And Cape Coral, of course, the city of Cape Coral, in the Fort Myers area, west coast of Florida. Juan David Cano now controlling for Cape Coral. There's LaPera. Dominic Jordan comes away with it for Choctaw. Jordan, just a sophomore, battling with the talented players of Cape Coral.
Well, we saw last night what young players can do. University loaded young players, sophomores mostly, and they want a state championship already.
Juan David Cano. Center it. Ronald Lind took the shot just a bit wide.
Now they're clicking. As I mentioned before, that's what they need to do. Put the ball on the ground. Oh, that's a great turn. Let the ball, oh, that is a great turn. You can see how the defender went inside. He cut him to the outside, spun him, hit the ball. Barely came off the crossbar. But see, that's exactly what Seahawks needs to do. Put the ball on the ground. They have plenty of players who can actually handle the ball. So don't go away from that. Don't start playing the long ball in the air. You have to go back to the basics.
Yeah, looking at this Cape Coral team, Eddie, and got several guys wearing different color shoes. I see fluorescent orange, I see lime green, I see light blue. The players said that the different colors show off their sense of creativity and how it all comes together.
Well, we did say they were a Latin mix of players, and you know what? They're not afraid of wearing collar shoes, so that's the thing about collar shoes. You have to be a good player to wear them.
Does that come with being a soccer player? Do you use your expression through your shoes, your footwear?
Not necessarily, but you know, nowadays, you know, with all these different brands and different colors and stuff, the varieties you have, you can pick anything you want. Back in the days, you had black and maybe one or two players wore white, and the ones that did were very good players. Nowadays, you see kids wearing all kinds of different colors. So.
And it's so hard to believe Cape Coral High School has never won a state championship, not just in soccer, but in any sport in school history. Today would most certainly be a first. As Amaral trying to tee it up, had his back to the goal, tried to turn around. Choctaw able to come away with it. LaPera. 19 is in the game for Cape Coral. That's Jordan Taylor. And now Amaral trying to split that defense. The call is made.
It's a handball. Actually, it's a good ball played into the space. He made a good run. Amaral made a good run behind the defense and just got for a handball. Here we see it. Trying to cut the ball across.
It looked like it just bounced up and hit his elbow.
Yeah, it was more of a bounce than anything, but the ref was only 10 yards behind, so he actually had a good look.
Dominic Jordan. There's the sophomore, 6'1", good size, as only a 10th grader.
So this is the time, Drew, when the game's going to start slowing down a little bit. This is when players are going to start feeling that heat. The wind's not that bad anymore, so you don't get that fresh wind. So you're going to start seeing, a little bit of a slower game.
And here come the Seahawks. Amaral trying to get in front. Shakes free. And a call is made.
Yeah, he called offside right before that. But it's a great play. It's a great counterattack. You can see out of the back, 3 touches, and they're taking a shot already. That's what they need to do. They need to be early playing, explosive, user technical talents. Here we see it on the replay. Breakaway, place a great ball into the space. Amaral comes in. And he had been called offsides. If not, that would have been a goal, obviously.
The crowd was ready to erupt. Amaral did not feel that he was offsides. Eddie, if you're Amaral in that position, trying to avoid the offsides, how difficult is it whenever your team's establishing a run like that?
Well, all he's got to worry about is taking a step in front of the defense so he can come back into the space, and then he's, the rule says now even it's on, but he's got to be aware. Now, the other factor about that is that he's so eager. He's trying to score so bad where that extra step, he's trying to gain space and time. So, but as a forward, you have to be disciplined. Oh, we see that little Latin flavor on that little play. Very technical player. I like him.
Kyle Amaral, keep your eye on number 8. He's a magnificent talent. Amaral, Eddie, came here 4 years ago from Brazil, did not speak a word of English.
And that was a little introduction to the Brazilian style of soccer. That is all great, Drew, but at the end of the day, you have to put the ball down, you have to put it in the back of the net.
Take a look at Amaral. No English 4 years ago, but has really embraced the United States and gets all A's in the IB program at Cape Coral High School. The IB program, for those of you who don't know, is the International Baccalaureate, where basically you take college courses in high school, extra hard courses, and Amaral has been able to master those. 22 goals this year for Caio. There he is, one more time. Amaral impressive here early, but his team trails 1-0.
But you know what, they still have plenty of time, so they need to just settle down a little bit, let the game come to them, put the ball down. They don't have to run so much, but they need to let the ball run. Swinging from side to side. I know we were talking about it. It's a topic that we pretty much have touched every single game, and that is the problem with a lot of these high school teams, that they only have a certain amount of club players, and there's a difference between just the regular high school player and the club player. The club player being a lot more technical and tactically sound, knowing what to do when they have the ball and when they don't have the ball, knowing what to do, what they're supposed to do on the pitch. So if they bring the game down a little bit with the talent they have, I think they're going to be okay.
Another corner kick, Kevin Lopera. And the wind has died down, Eddie, very much since the start.
And you can tell that the temperature on the field
is going up.
Absolutely, because of the wind died.
Near the goal. Trying to get ahead on it. A swing taken as Jordan Taylor had a good angle, but unable to get a good foot on it.
That's what they need to keep doing. They need to keep the pressure up there. Keep Choctaw in their own defensive half. They need to crystallize one of those chances and tie the game up.
There's Tyler Thoreau, a football player at Choctaw High School. Very physical on the soccer field as well as the Seahawks. They've threatened several times in this first half. Oh, Cape Coral wants a handball, but not going to get it.
They're not going to get it, not in this game, not in the state championship. It has to be really clear for the referee to call it. But they're doing a good job. They're keeping the pressure, and when you keep pressure up, anything can happen. Here we see that shot.
Ooh.
I don't know, that's awfully close.
Very close. Choctaw, I think, dodged a bullet. The road to the title game for the Indians has looked like a cakewalk. Look at the goals, Eddie. They have outscored the opposition 20-0. They have shut out everybody. And that also says a lot about their goalie, Trapper Chichak. For Cape Coral, a little bit closer matchups. Tight games against Naples, Golden Gate, and Lakewood Ranch. They needed overtime to down the Mustangs in Manatee County, and then the rout coming in the state semifinals against Celebrations. You take a look at the crowd here at the University of Tampa. We're thrilled to bring you these championships for the first year ever. Girls championships last week, boys this week. Eddie, you've had a good time, I suppose.
Yeah, it's been great. The fan base support for all these high schools. I know we saw a couple of local high schools yesterday, Durant, with a lot of people. They brought a lot of people. But, you know, going back to Choctaw, yeah, they've done a great job, especially defensively, even though they've taken more shots. But you can tell they haven't lost their shape in the back. The goalkeeper's doing a great job at directing, you know, keeping the shape out of the back. Fullbacks are tucked in. They're not giving that last pass in the defensive third, and that's really crucial, and that's really key to that.
There's Ronald Lind for Cape Coral. Boy, a picture-perfect day, not a cloud in the sky. So we welcome you. If you've been watching Big East basketball on Bright House Sports Network, this the Class 4A State Championship title soccer game between the Choctawhatchee Indians in green and the Seahawks from Cape Coral in the white. Drew Felios and Eddie Rodriguez from Pepin Stadium at the University of Tampa, just about a half mile away from downtown Tampa. Choctaw got an early goal from Ricky Hogue, their superstar. His 41st goal on the season. Now Cape Coral, they've threatened several times, but the Seahawks haven't been able to get on the board just yet. Choctaw able to come away with it, but the whistle blows.
Yeah, it's a handball. It's a good challenge, you know, and this is the time during the game where you can see, you know, people are tired, legs start to get tired, so the game gets a little bit sloppy. Once again, they need to put the ball down and swing it around. Let the ball do the work, as we say.
Andrew Gonzalez will give it a ride. Got a good shot. Trapper Chichak is there to save. He has not been scored on one time in this postseason.
Trapper, that's a great name for a goalkeeper, isn't it?
You think? He had 13 saves, Eddie, in the semifinal against Belen Jesuit. Seahawks trying to put together a run. Juan David Cano. Ball comes our way. Will be controlled by the Seahawks. Stefan Quinton, the senior, to throw it in for Choctaw. Michael Lightbourne. Bodies colliding. I have a feeling as this game goes on, it's just going to get more and more physical. Call made, and the Seahawks will have a free kick.
You're right, Drew, and this is when you know, you're going to see the different coaching styles and different coaching philosophies, and you know, especially as we get closer to halftime, what is going to change, what changes they're going to make, and how they're going to, you know, go back to what the original philosophy was at the beginning of the game.
And a lot of calls, Eddie, starting to be made on Choctaw.
Yeah, here we see a late tackle. Forwards coming back to check to the ball. Defender just gets him a little late. But, you know, when it comes down to halftime, this is when having depth in your team is going to help you. Having players who can come off the bench and keep up the intensity, keep up with the idea what you want them to do, and get things done on the field.
Defense strong by the Indians when it's had to be. Trapper comes up and reels another one in. Trapper was a little nervous on Thursday, as Coach Chris McDaniel told us, but he's extremely quick. That quickness, very beneficial as far as his reaction time is concerned.
Must be all the fly fishing he does. Great for reflexes.
There's Coach Aldo Nordiela, a club coach down in the South Florida area. Mentioned the fact that he's a history teacher, Eddie. He really emphasized the fact that, you know, having a love for history, he would love to win a state title because he wants 50 years from now, these boys, when they're older men, to say, yes, back in 2011, it was a great part of history. We took home the school's first ever state soccer championship. A real appreciation for history as Choctaw dealing with the present right now.
Absolutely.
Close.
Close. Keeper comes out. A little bit of obstruction, but he should be able to hold the ball, you know. Right before that, Drew, we saw the coach talking to Amaral, who's coming back on the field, you know, and really talking to him and telling him what to do. He went outside, took 5-minute break, 6-minute break, got hydrated, you know, and he was just, I'm sure, assuming he was telling him that he's got to get things done on the field, especially offensively. Has to be able to hold the ball up front. He's the go-to guy for the Seahawks, so he's got to do a better job of that.
Good play. Peterson trying to chase it down for Choctaw. Cape Coral able to gather it back in, and now Amaral trying to shake free. This Cape Coral team, Eddie, did not lose a game during the regular season. They were perfect. Their only loss coming in the district title game to Fort Myers. We've had a lot of teams in this tournament, it seems like, that have been district runners-up that have ended up getting to the championship games and beyond.
And that just shows you the importance of, you know, regular season play, you know, and you get to the playoffs, and, you know, some teams that are not really collectively playing well, they get to the playoffs, and that's when they start clicking. And that's where you see a lot of these teams that finished second, they went to districts, and then they won it, and they were not expecting to go through, and then they're actually here at, you know, in the finals of state.
Here's Ricky Hogue, the lone goal of the game for Choctaw. Headed to Missouri State to play his college soccer, and wants a call, and surprisingly no whistle. What do you think?
That's a tough call. He's not going to get that one here unless it's really clear in the final. Chances are you're not going to get a call.
Here's one more look. Pushing and shoving.
Ricky in traffic. Yeah, see, you have to look at the intention of the defender. If he's looking at the ball, he's got no intention. All he's doing is shielding the ball. I think it's a good call.
Coach McDaniel wanted a call in that situation. Now a corner kick for Cape Coral. This at least the 5th corner kick of the game, Eddie, for the Seahawks.
And you have to take advantage of that.
This one they keep on the ground. Tee it up. See if they can get a shot. Defense of the Indians there to respond.
That was actually a good play, Drew. The player on top of the backs has to be able to make contact with the ball one time. You do not have time to trap it. Take your time. Here actually we see it. It's a good ball on the ground. He's got to be able to play that ball one time to the far post. If he plays the ball to the far post, what he's going to do, all the defenders are going to run out, and by that he's going to be able to find one of the forwards' back post. But you do not have the time to trap it. Take your time and hit it. So now with a set piece and that corner kick, you know, they're showing variety. They're showing that they're actually trying to do something different rather than just dump it in the box and see what happens. So that's good. I like to see that because that just shows you that they're trying to play the game. They're trying something new.
Well, Coach Nardiello has really done a great job with this Cape Coral team. He said that whenever they weren't playing well in that district championship game, he told the guys, hey, you guys are playing like you don't love each other. You need to realize who you're passing to, who you're shooting with, who you're doing drills with, who's the guy next to you.
Absolutely, and you got to be able to put, you know, when you're playing with a team like that, you have to be able to trust each other. It's kind of like the Marines' whole logo. They leave no one behind. What is the same thing on the soccer field? You have to be able to know and trust that the person behind you is going to have your back. Same concept. And that's why you see the teams that are very successful, winning championships. You talk about 3-4 years, you know, when they go on a run like that, is because they've had the same players, same system, same coaching staff, and they get, you know, very familiar with each other.
On the run, Acosta. Once again, Andrew Morrell there to make the play. Choctaw's been back on their heels for a lot of this first half. But they still hold the 1-0 lead off the goal by Ho. The turn and the call is made.
See, Drew, and in that case, it's very obvious that it was a handball. So, player traps the ball. It does really well. He's going to play the ball. Completely touches the hand. So that's what's going to happen. They've been able to keep the pressure out. They're knocking the ball around. They're trying to find the player in the back post. That was actually a great cross. And this is what happens when you keep the pressure up.
And the best player on PK's Paolo Acosta. The senior will tee it up for Cape Coral. Only 5'6". Shooting on Trapper Cicek.
And you need cool, calm, and collect this situation. Take your time, pick your side, and go with it.
Still no goals in this postseason on Choctawhatchee as Trapper Cicek gets bailed out by the post.
Wow. He walked up to the ball, knew what he was going to do.
They'll try once more, but the Indians there for the block.
And hit the post.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Slow approach, he gets up, you know, and Drew, and that is just the difference between you opening up your foot a little bit. I mean, the difference between hitting the post and putting it in the back of the net, it is not much. That's how small of a change it is. You know, keeper obviously dove all the way to the other side, so he had him beat already just by his approach. And that happens. That tends, you know, every once in a while it's going to happen, unfortunately.
You know, Eddie, it's amazing. Yesterday in that 3A championship game between University and Lake Highland Prep, we saw 16 straight penalty kicks and goals, and we see blood now on the field. A scary sight for Choctawhatchee, and an ugly scene right now. Hopefully that is not too serious, but it looks like he got kicked right square in the head.
Yeah. He was going to flick the ball with his head, came down, and he might have just gotten hit by with the cleats by one of the players.
I was saying, though, Eddie, 16 straight penalty kicks scored yesterday in that 3A championship game, and then there a critical one that should even the score hits the post.
Amazing. Yeah, we saw 16, and not only were they 16, but they were very well taken.
Yes.
And we saw some earlier yesterday morning as well, and he went to the 6th or 7th round, I believe, and it was just, we were amazed of how many, you know, how many penalty kicks were taken the right way. I think it was head-to-head contact. It wasn't a cleat. You can see number 4 right there holding the back of his head.
Eddie, in the trenches, when the game is played like this, the stakes are high. How dangerous can the sport be?
Well, you know, it could be. The thing about, you know, getting hit in the head, it happens quite often. A lot of the things you don't see on camera, you don't see, you know, elbows, head-to-head contact, and especially in this instance, I don't think they were, you know, trying to collide with each other, but you know, anywhere around the forehead area, if you get hit, it's not difficult to get a cut, to get opened up, and obviously a lot of blood.
Well, Tyler Thoreau's a tough player. Tyler is a football player at Choctawhatchee High School, and he plays safety, so he is used to knocking heads with opponents.
We see here in the replay that both players are looking at the ball. They're not looking at each other or aware of what's going on, and they actually collide. And there you see the blood.
Now the question is, if Tyler needs stitches, will he be back here this afternoon, or can he make do and continue to play on? As I said, he's a football player. He's used to the contact, a tough kid, but we'll see.
Well, most of the time, usually what's going to do, they're going to try to close the gap, you know, close the cut with butterflies or something. As long as he's not bleeding when he comes back to the field, they will not let him back on the field with blood. So if they put a patch, a lot of times you see, you know, a complete wrap around his head, and that's the only way he's going to be able to return. And as you can tell, they're applying, you know, throwing water on the field for whatever blood is on the ground. It's more of a safety issue than anything.
Well, this field has taken a pounding this week here at Pepin Stadium, but has held up pretty well. As you get another look at Tyler, hopefully he is okay. A junior on defense for Choctawhatchee, and obviously a lot of toughness in the back. Now lost for the Indians as long as Tyler is on the sideline. So you got to think, Eddie, that players like Kyle Amaral will sense this and go at Choctawhatchee even harder.
Absolutely, especially having a defender out who's so physical, who's not afraid of, you know, hitting people or getting hit. Now they get him out. He's actually one of the back players too, and he does a tremendous job organizing in the middle of the field. So now that you have him out, are you going to be able to exploit that spot? Are you going to be able to go through somebody who just came off the bench who's not ready to play, especially with this heat?
Amaral waiting for that opportunity. Free kick coming up. Andrew Gonzalez does the honors for the Seahawks, and a nice ball just out of sight. Looked like someone should have gotten a shot on that one.
Drew, that was a tremendous ball. Very well played. He plays it with pace. You can tell right here. He picks his spot right there, the penalty kick, what we call. What you want, well, that's a perfect ball because you want the forwards to run into the ball. The other thing you're doing is you're forcing the keeper to come out. He didn't in this case, but it was just a matter of time. But that's an excellent ball. That's what you want to do in that case.
Andrew Morrell now working. This Choctaw team has made 6 Final Four appearances. Just high. Nice shot taken by Josh Pioveson.
That is a good look. He gets the ball from the outside left, looks up, they give him time, tees it up, and he actually stroked that ball well.
First title game appearance for Choctaw since the early 90s. Olivier Benedict. There's number 5 for Cape Coral, and there he is colliding body on body with Dominic Jordan. Taylor, number 19 in the game for the Seahawks, and a throw-in. David Cano heads it out of bounds. Now the Indians take over, coming up on the 6-minute mark. Amaral. The Seahawks get organized. A little bit sloppy.
They need to clean that up a little bit, Drew. Put the ball down. Too many flicks. Too much putting the ball in the air. They need to put it down and play with it. And you know what, Drew? That is actually one of the drawbacks about being too fancy. Some of the Latin action you see here, Latin players, they have the tendency to taking that extra touch for the sake of looking good, putting your stamp on the game. That's why a lot of the times you just play it simple. If you want to be cute and if you want to be creative, do that in the offensive third. In the middle of the park, just get the ball, play it simple, get it back, and go forward. Because you're not going to have that much time, you're not going to have that much space. So if you take that extra touch, all you're doing is giving the defender time to get there, you know, and that's where you're going to lose the ball in the middle of the park.
Eddie, you said it. If there were style points handed out, the Seahawks would be winning 10-0 in a shutout. Choctaw has not made it look pretty, but they've been efficient. They've been physical, although Ricky Hogue has not really touched the ball in the last 10 minutes of this game. I think Cape Coral, if they just settle down and do the basics, they have the definite edge in this game. And
that really has been the difference, Drew. That's a great point that you touch. You know, Ricky had one chance and he put it away. We really haven't seen much of that, but that is the trait of a great striker. Good forward. Somebody's going to have one or two chances and is going to convert. However, the Seahawks have probably 70% of the possession of the game, but they still haven't been able to capitalize. So
there you see Ricky Hogue, the only goal of this game for Choctawhatchee, a superstar for the Indians. Shot towards the goal. Trapper Chichik there to knock it out. Another shot for the Seahawks and another corner kick. And stay tuned at the half on Bright House Sports Network. Soccer Skills with Eddie Rodriguez. The art of the corner kick. We've seen tons of them by Cape Coral in this first half, but the Seahawks haven't been able to put one in the back of the net. Also, the Bright House Sports Network Video Championship Showdown. It's all coming up at the half of this 4A title game. Trapper Chichik able to get there and just get enough of that ball to cause enough havoc.
Absolutely. They're actually doing a good job of driving the ball to the middle of, you know, to get the keeper to come out. Here we see a left-footed corner kick. Keeper comes out, barely gets a glove on it, and then defense does the rest. You know, Drew, we definitely have to give credit to the goalkeeper and the defense in this case for Choctaw, because they've been, you know, very strong in the back. They haven't done, you know, they haven't made any mistakes, and they're just nice and calm in the back. They're letting the game come to them. That's what you want to do. You're up 1-0 late in the first half, getting ready to go to halftime. So you have to stay within the game. You have to.
That's Juan David Cano on the turf right now. Very skilled player for Cape Coral. The best one-touch player on the team.
Absolutely. Ooh, that's a bad foul from behind. Anytime you hit from somebody from, I'm surprised you didn't get a yellow card on that tackle.
Dominic Jordan, you saw. His game face is on. Andrew Gonzalez gives it a nice ride. And Trapper Chichik surrounded by the goal, and the goalie run into. Well, Chichik took a shot. And a key moment right now in this game.
And you see, Andrew, that's a long, deep ball into the heart of the box, right in the penalty spot right there. And that's going to create problem. Oh. Once again, what he does, and we've been talking about it all morning, what he does, it forces the goalkeeper to come out.
Well, Eddie Amaral gave him a shot. And Amaral's a big kid, 6'1", Trapper only 5'9", and the card comes out.
The problem with that, Drew, is that once you have started your run into the box, it's really hard for you to stop yourself. So if we look at the replays more, but we see it right here. The ball's coming out. Amaral is looking at the ball. Keeper comes out. There's really not the intention to hit the goalkeeper, but you can't stop yourself. We see it over here. He's looking at the ball, hoping for a rebound, hoping for a loose ball, and the goalkeeper gets the worst of it.
Yeah, and Andrew Morel was in the vicinity also. Looked like he had his elbow in the back of Amaral as he was running into the goalie. Tyler Thoreau, who was bleeding profusely just minutes ago, is back in the game right now, and he's sporting a nice big bandage over that left eye. Now he's ready to play, Eddie.
That's it. So as we said earlier, as long as there's no blood visible on his head and his face, then he's able to come back to the field.
So Tyler Thoreau, patch him up and send him back out there. Coming up on the 1 minute mark of this first half. Kevin LaPera. Seahawks trying to get a good opportunity here, a good look before the half. Nathan Stone in the game also for the Seahawks. And now Ricky Hogue touches it. Trying to pass it to Jordan. He had it picked off by Kevin Hurley. Nice job by Hurley. Now Ronald Lynn. 20 seconds. LaPera. And Choctaw on the throw-in. So at the end of half number 1, Choctaw is going to go into the locker room with a 1-0 lead. The Indians in the driver's seat on the road to a 4A state championship. When we come back, halftime festivities, soccer skills with Eddie, and much more. You're watching the 4A State Soccer Championship on Bright House Sports Network. A 1-0 game after half number 1. The Indians of Choctaw leading the Seahawks of Cape Coral in the Class 4A State Championship game from Pepin Stadium on a gorgeous day in Tampa. Well, we've seen it time and again in this first half. Cape Coral with tons of corner kick opportunities, but still yet to get on the scoreboard. Maybe in the locker room right now, they should turn on their television and watch Soccer Skills, brought to you by Eddie Rodriguez.
So we're talking about corner kicks today. A couple of different techniques you can use to take corner kicks. The first one we're going to use, we're going to drive the ball. What that does is you have a surplus amount of players in the box. Anything can happen when you drive the ball. The harder you can put it near post, it can hit anybody and it can go into the back of the net. So as we approach, you want to make sure you use the same technique. Drive it with the right surface with the shoelaces and just put it right about the 6-yard line. So as you can tell, anything can happen. With a windy day like this, you drive the ball, who knows, you're going to end up in the back of the net. So the second technique we're going to talk about for corner kicks is actually putting a spin on the ball. Unlike the first one, we drove the ball and we're trying to get it close and tight. On this one, what we're going to do is we're going to plant. We're going to use a different surface, which is this part of the shoe, and we're going to spin the ball. What we're trying to do with that, we're trying to invite the goalkeeper to come out. The ball's going to spin out, and then he's going to come back into the goal. So you approach a little different. You send him on the side. So you hit the ball with a spin. And as you can tell, the ball comes back towards the goal. Keeper comes out, and hopefully one of your forwards, one of your defenders is there to put the ball in the back of the net. That was Corner Kicks. I'm Eddie Rodriguez for Bright House Sports Network.
All right, Eddie, great stuff. Baseball going on right across the way here on the campus of the University of Tampa. Choctaw with a 1-0 lead at halftime. We're back after this. One nothing the score on a gorgeous day in Tampa for a state soccer championship on the line. Choctaw leading Cape Coral at the half. And it's time now for our Bright House Sports Network Video Showdown. Videos have been submitted from high schools all over the Bay Area and Central Florida, trying to compete, trying to win our Bright House Sports Network Video Showdown. This latest entrant from Dr. Phillips High School, the Panthers represented. Let's take a look.
Honor, respect, teamwork. These are the virtues that the Panthers play with. Among them are their abilities: strength, speed, and flexibility. Without the support of their fans, coaches, and teammates, they wouldn't be who they are today. And they are the Dr. Phillips men's varsity basketball team.
What makes this team different is they're more of a family than any other team in Florida, and they're so together that it's so unique. It's so good.
They're definitely work together well as a team.
Our basketball team is always so successful.
And they know what they're doing out there.
Good luck, boys. You're doing great.
Good luck.
Being awesome this season.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. What do you think of that narration, Eddie?
That was great.
Outstanding stuff, well written. Choctaw 1-0 over Cape Coral, the second half of this state soccer final coming up after this. Back to Pepin Stadium, Choctaw 1-0 over Cape Coral. The Indians surprisingly lead this soccer team, and I gotta admit, Eddie, I was expecting Cape Coral to come out and really take it to Choctaw because on paper they have the more talented team. But Choctaw with the outstanding superstar Ricky Hogue able to get on the scoreboard, and they did it right here opening minutes.
Yeah, they haven't had many shots, but the ones on the first chance, they put it away, and they've done a great job of, playing defense very well.
Only one shot on goal for each team. That a penalty kick. Oh boy, would Paolo Acosta want to have that one back? Then it got a little rough. The blood coming out from Tyler Thoreau. He is okay. He is back in the game. Trafford Chichik also took a shot from Kyle Amaral. So that's where we stand. It got a little physical at the end of the first half, but now heading into half number two, what are going to be the keys of this soccer game?
Well, once again, the keys to the team, that has the ball, and we've seen a couple of different scenarios. The team to score the goal, Chechak, they have to be able to keep the tempo of the game, because if not, they're going to be, once again, put on defense the whole time. So what they got to do is, now that they have a 1-0 lead, they have to keep that. But they still have to come out and play the game.
At the beginning of the game, Eddie, we outlined your keys to the game. The first one, of course, was get Ricky Hogue involved. Choctaw did that early. As far as the other one, how has that played out?
Well, they did that. We talked about it. Go to your top scorer. He's got 41 goals now in the season. That's what he does best, so give him the ball. They have to do that again in the second half. They need to find him, but they need to find him with the advantage of giving the ball to his feet or play the ball behind the defense. Let him do what he does best.
This Choctaw team been outstanding in the postseason, have not allowed many goals. All they got to do is keep Cape Coral out of the net, but that's going to be a tough task because the Seahawks have just tremendous firepower. They scored 4 goals on Thursday. Sometimes, though, Eddie, like baseball, sometimes you see a team score 10 runs one game, the next game they come out and they can't get a bat on the ball. Does that happen sometimes in soccer?
Yeah, and what we've seen in the first half, they had the penalty kick, they missed it. I think they've been a little bit unlucky. What they need to do is just keep the pressure up. They need to doing what it works for them, and what that is they need to keep possession of the ball. The only thing they're lacking is, in that final third, they need to, have that ability to put the ball away. So but within that, they cannot get discouraged. They got to keep going forward. They got to, keep triangulating, 2-3 passes together, going forward, take some shots from the outside. They need to unbalance the defense so they can get some things going on the offense.
University of Tampa, proud hosts of this FHSAA State Soccer Championship. This is the 35th year that the FHSAA has recognized soccer and the state championship honoring the best teams in the state of Florida. So soccer this week on Bright House Sports Network, and then the next couple weeks we've got basketball from Polk County in the Lakeland Center. We'll talk more about that later on in the broadcast. It is FHSAA State Championship season, Eddie, because today we've also got state wrestling going on in Polk County. A busy, busy time of year.
It sure is.
Right now we are all about football. And Eddie, this past calendar year, an important one for the entire sport is get a look at Choctaw. And right now Christopher Bastion on the field for the Indians, number 3. But, well, with this recent World Cup, Eddie, how do you think that this World Cup affected the entire sport of soccer as a whole? Because it seems like every 4 years it just keeps making great strides. It seemed like a lot of bars around town, a lot of restaurants, they came to a halt when the World Cup came on.
They did, and what the World Cup means, it's really the celebration of the sport of soccer throughout the world, what they call obviously football for other countries. But anywhere you go where you actually get a chance to go watch a World Cup, the whole nation, wherever it's held, this last World Cup was in South Africa, obviously, but they closed everything. They shut down everything. It's just, people for their countries, and even if you're not from there, it's just a great festivity.
Cape Coral, the Seahawks coming from South Florida. Mentioned the mix of international flavor on this Cape Coral team. Several countries represented, but in all, when you look at the entire student body population, Eddie, 43% of the students at Cape Coral High School are Latin.
Great influence from the Latin community there. So as we start the second half, Drew, this is very important to mention. If you're both coaches, you're 1-0 up, 1-0 down. Look at the clock, 37 minutes left in the game to win a state title, or if you're the other coach, you have 37 minutes to tie the game up. So how do you approach that? If you're 1-0 up, you need to stay compact, keep the ball. You want to dictate the flow of the play. Goes out of bounds, you take your time. If you're on the other side, time is of the essence. How can you put some passes together and get to the goal? I know 37 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, but when you got to score a couple of goals to win it, there's a lot more pressure to your team. So that now you get into the whole time management aspect of the game.
And Eddie, when you have a team like Cape Coral that is not used to being behind and playing from behind, that's also, I imagine, a big key.
Yeah, it's a good point actually, because it's a territory that they haven't been there before. A lot of the teams have been down before. They know how to take that. They know how to keep it together. For them, the last thing they need to do is panic. They need to keep the ball on the ground. They need to keep doing what they do best, and that's knock the ball around and get behind the defense.
I am so impressed by the play of Trapper Chichik for Choctaw. Only a sophomore, really standing up to this Cape Coral attack so well. Only 5'9", he's a little guy, but the spear fisherman has been perfect so far this afternoon.
Absolutely, and that is the difference between having an experienced goalkeeper in the back who's going to give you that maturity, who's going to keep your team intact, especially your defenders, and that's what they need.
Michael Lightbourne on the attack for Choctaw, gets it to the money man, Ricky Ho. Number 9 already has 1 goal. Oh boy, he is crafty when he gets his foot on it.
That's the key for Chetak. They want to go, give it to Ricky. Simple as that.
Lightborn operating in the midfield. Andrew Morrell gives it a ride. Dominic Jordan has been active also. Hogue now with some space and a flick. The shot! Score!
There it is. We've been saying the game in and game out. That is the kind of player who's going to change the game. Outstanding finish. Outstanding finish. Wow. Gets the ball in traffic, a couple of bad bounces. His player flicks the ball, traps the ball, flicks it over the defender's head, gets around with the left foot, keeper comes out, tucks it in. That is an outstanding finish.
That right there, Eddie, so far the play of this tournament.
Absolutely. And that's why they're up 2-0. That is great to watch.
Ricky Hogue, the senior forward from Choctaw. Once again, 2 goals, and his team in the same position they were in on Thursday.
What is that, his 42nd goal? That is impressive.
Well, his hometown newspaper unofficially had him for 47 goals coming into this game. Ricky, we had him for 40. I say, what do you say? We take the average of that, maybe? Just give it to him.
Give him the half.
What a player. Ricky Hogue among the top goal scorers in the tournament. Look at the final 4 teams. Andrew Palumbo of Bishop Furrow in Class 3A lost in the semifinals. Verneri Valema, we saw him, Eddie, on Thursday night for American Heritage. Carlos Dominguez of Bowles University ended their season. Austin O'Brien of Spruce Creek. Zach Wheeler of Gaither's season came to an end against Durant. And then Chris Scott of St. Stephen's as well. Providence ended St. Stephen's season in the semifinals. And an injury right now on the field. Ouch. Eddie, that was Christopher Bastian, the junior forward, who's going to have to leave the game now.
Yeah, it looks like he sprained his knee. He got challenged from behind as he was trying to dribble inside the field. And chalked out with a free kick.
Going back to that goal by Hogue, Eddie, you've been here all week long. You've seen a lot of plays. Was that the best play you've seen this entire week?
Absolutely. If you look at the technical ability of that play, he brings the ball down. He's in traffic. Doesn't have a lot of time to bring it down. Precisely flicks the ball. Know what he wants to do. Flicks the ball over the defender's head. Another defender comes in, cuts the ball to the outside. Keeper comes out. Outstanding. By far the best.
Seen some great talent by the 2 Tampa schools, Durant and Gaither, also St. Thomas Aquinas, Fleming Island. Yesterday in a duel. Ricky Hogue right now stealing the show for these Indians of Choctaw. Cape Coral now behind 2-0, Eddie. How does their approach change, or does it at all?
They still have plenty of time. I know it's 2-0, but you know, if you look at the game, Drew, they haven't had many chances. It's just the fact that they were able to.
Well, this is one, and it's goal for Nathan Stone.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. They got to keep doing what they're doing. That's a great through ball. Takes one touch into the box and finishes. So see, now they're 2-1 with 33 minutes left in the game. Plenty of time. So here we see a great pass. He looks up, plays the ball straight between two defenders, finds the lane. Keeper comes out, and he tucks it to the side. That's a great finish.
Should Trapper have come out that soon or stayed at home more?
He could have come out, and if he's going to come out, he got caught in no man's land in the middle of it. Either you come out or you stay. But the rule is pretty much if he's got defenders around him, you stay as a goalkeeper. If he comes out on a breakaway, then you step up and try to close the angle, try to close the space.
Oh, going back to work. Perhaps the inexperience showing right there, Eddie, just a bit.
Maybe. That could have been one of those where, what if?
Nonetheless, Cape Coral on the scoreboard, and Trapper just resets. Try and forget that one. His team still has a 2-1 advantage. But if you're Cape Coral now, Eddie, you can maybe start to play a little bit more loose. You're on the scoreboard. And for Coach Aldo Nordiello, hopefully Kyle Amaral can get it going, although Amaral right there called for the handball.
Absolutely. This is that goal right there is huge for them because he gave validity of what they're doing, what they need to do. That's a perfect play. You know, that was right down to their style, the way they score that goal. So they just got to keep doing that. Put the ball on the ground and handle the ball.
Walter Prater drives it downfield. Josh Pivazin takes a spill. Looked like a body check near midfield.
This is when things get a little hairy now. Tension, 2-1 game. Not a lot of time left.
And another yellow card, this one to Paulo Acosta. Right now, the two best players for Cape Coral, Acosta and Amaral, both sporting yellow cards. Amaral got his in the first half. Michael Lightbourne. Another collision. Lightbourne initiates the contact, and now he's going to head to the bench.
He definitely gets a yellow. Now you can actually see the intention of the player as he gets close to the ball in the collision. That's when they're going to call. That's when they're going to get a card for that. You see right here in the replay. If you look at him going with the intention, he's not even looking at the ball for a body check. That's great in hockey, though.
Our officials, Mark Kaskren, Patrick Ayers, Carl Hagerman, Jason Kapopkin. Eddie now with 3 yellow cards total, especially to the ones to Cape Coral's players, to Amaral and Acosta. How does that affect their approach now?
Well, it does, because those 3 players have to be very careful.
Trapper comes out. Amaral with an empty net. A shot and a save. Seahawks thought it may have crossed the line, but another great save by Trapper Chicha.
Now we're getting some chances. Lays the ball back. It's a great strike. It's actually a defender who hit the ball out.
And now for the first time, the Seagulls invade Pepin Stadium all at once. We're trying to get a good look at this State Soccer Championship and what's heating up to be a great game. Paulo Acosta back into the game after a yellow card. Benedict.
Drew, as we were talking about the cards, you have to be very cautious now, because the second foul on any of those players who have, you know, cards ready, if you get a guy thrown out of the game this late, it could be, you know, it could cost you the game. Playing 10 men this late with a heat factor, it could be the difference in the game.
What do you think? The Seagulls maybe supporting the Seahawks.
I think they're related somehow. It's
There you go. It is such a gorgeous day. Boy, if you are not outside today in some way, shape, or form, after watching our state soccer coverage, of course, I don't think there's going to be a better day this year. Oh, really getting physical right now. Saw Jordan Taylor in there for Cape Coral pleading his case.
Yeah, Drew, and really negotiating with the referees really doesn't do you any good. I've tried it many times and it doesn't go that well.
Coach Chris McDaniel, hoping his team holds on to the 2-1 lead. He said, one of the big keys today for my team to win this game, Eddie, got to drink lots of water. Fluids imperative, this being the first game. It did start at 2 o'clock, so they had some time to get prepared. It wasn't like it was the first thing in the morning type of ball game, but hydration, I imagine, in this situation can be important.
Absolutely. Not only hydration, but preparation, period. They had a hard game yesterday, a long game. So, you know, you talk about all the way from what they eat, how much they slept, how much they drink. All those factors are going to be taken into account for this game.
Amaral chasing. Trapper coming out. The goal's free. It needs a kick, and there it is.
Outstanding play. We talk about it. He's a go-to man. He's the guy with the red shoes, making it happen. And I think that little talk he had to the coach before halftime, he definitely paid off. That's a great ball going forward. It's a 50-50 ball. He makes a run. Keeper comes out, flicks the ball, takes a touch, brings it down. Outstanding. And here's the difference between a mature player. As you look, when he spins and chest straps the ball, takes the time, another younger player would have hurried up and put the ball over the bar. Turns, brings the ball down, technically very sound, puts it away. Now we got us a game. 2-2, with 28 minutes left.
So Caio Amaral, the Brazilian, evens this game at 2 apiece.
And you know what, Drew, you mentioned it earlier. That is where the inexperience of the goalkeeper has shown. The last 2 goals on the second one. If you're going to come out as a goalkeeper, you got to come out. Either you take the ball, you take the player. It's one of those rules we have, and he took neither of them. Ball went loose, player went through, had the time to bring the ball down, and was able to put it away for the equalizer.
Eddie, it is amazing when you watch Cape Coral in half number 1 and half number 2. They've just been so much more aggressive on that final third, like you said, at halftime. And I guess as they become more aggressive, the goalie has to become smarter and make better decisions, correct?
Absolutely. It's all about timing as well. And, you know, as you mentioned, they were doing all the right things until that final third. You know, going forward, the finishing touches, and that's what they did. Coming up the halftime, that's all they needed to do, and they've shown in the last 15 minutes they scored twice already.
Looking for another. Juan David Cano trying to get in position. Tyler Thoreau is playing with a cut above his left eye, chasing right now all over the field as he dives for it. How about that will versus skill?
Wow. It's more of a goalkeeper dive, but I like it. Talk about sacrificing your body for the team.
Thoreau in position and nearly a header right past Trapachucha. Said he's a safety on the football field. Here's why.
That is a full extension. I like that.
You think he wants to win a state championship?
He wants it, and he wants it bad.
Seahawks again with a shot. And too many Indians in the vicinity. Choctaw able to force it out of bounds. Another throw in coming in.
And see, now you see what happens with the keep, and they continue to keep pressure. You know, that's what they want to do. They want to take shots. They want to keep the pressure. They want to keep the flow of the play on this half of the field.
A lot of air put under the throw. Now the Seahawks get it under control. Cape Coral never won a state title in any sport in the history of their school. It's up to the soccer boys today. As Colton Bales hits it out of bounds. Right now Choctaw on their heels. David Cano. Cano keeps it alive. Cano centers. Sent out. Ryan Harold now playing. Eddie, if this were basketball or this were a boxing match, would you need a timeout at this point?
Absolutely. You need to.
If you're Choctaw.
Right, I know what you meant. You need to do that, but we got to do it. You got to buy, you know, you got to kick the ball out of bounds. You got to regroup. You need to, you know, start from your goalkeeper, sort out your marks, sort out your shape, and start from there. Because if not, they're taking it to you, and they're taking chances, they're taking space, you're giving them free spaces. And, you know, when you were up 2-0 and now you're up, you're 2-2, that puts you in a very difficult situation. There's plenty of time here, so you need to somehow, you know, disrupt the bomb before it explodes here.
Well, the water break is about 4 minutes away, so that's the only time Choctaw's going to have. And it looks like the Indians right now need a bit of a rest. They're sagging just a bit and look like they're playing more out of desperation.
And if I am the coach for Choctaw, that's exactly what I would tell him. Settle down, play simple.
Stone makes the move. He's already got a goal today. And Nathan Stone cut off at the last moment. See if Ricky Hogue, he just puts his arms up in the air. That ball not even close.
Because they're not playing him the ball. He hasn't touched the ball in the last 15 minutes. Another thing they do, Choctaw needs to do, is they need to clear the ball. They're playing too fancy out of the back. They're trying to come back out of the back with a control ball. They just got to clear it like that. Just get the ball and clear it. Ask questions later. They hurt me.
2 straight clears, and I think that's what Chris McDaniel is telling his team.
And what you do with that, Drew, you start shaving 30, 40 seconds off the clock every time. And what it does, it gives you that breather that you need. It keeps you composed in the back. As long as you keep your shape in the back, you're going to be fine.
Another chance, a little bit wide, didn't have the right angle. David Cano took a swing, only a sophomore. They're going to continue to challenge Chichik as much as they can.
And that's because the Seahawks have been able to find that last bit of space in the offensive third. So now they're pinging the ball everywhere, you know. So they got to clear the ball. They got to get that shape in the back. And I think right now they're a little disorganized because they just got scored twice. So they need to settle down. You know, they need to regroup. That's what they got to do. Another important thing to mention is that if they don't get out of the back, if they don't start putting pressure on the Seahawks midfield, they have all the midfield, all the strip, it's wide open. So if you give them time, if you let them time, give them time to look up and find the target, it's going to be a long day for them. And that's why they've been playing defense the whole 10 minutes they've been defending at all.
Well, they're all back into the game for Cape Coral. As Choctaw just continuing to just clear the ball. As Eddie stated a few minutes ago, been back on their heels for the last 10 minutes. And right now facing a barrage by this Cape Coral Seahawks team. Ricky Hogue right there, both goals today for Choctaw. For Cape Coral, Nathan Stone has a goal and Kayo Amaral scored just minutes ago.
And that's what they need to do. Give the ball to Ricky, let him hold the ball, let him buy you enough time to get out, clear the space, get all your defenders out of the way. This is a great set piece for them because it gives them time. That's what they need to do. Put one of these away on a set piece so they can buy themselves a little bit of a time.
Lightborn couldn't put it in the air, and again, another possession that's minimized by Cape Coral.
Absolutely. Now we go on a counterattack with the best player on the ball for Cape Coral, doing a couple step overs.
Amaral with the shot, and the score!
You cannot give a player like that time and space. He just proved it yet again. Goes on a breakaway, gets the ball, faces a guy, goes at him, takes the ball to the inside with a great finish. Even though he's a left-footed player, we're seeing double the step over again, cuts the ball to the inside. Two players, even though he's a left-footed player, hits the ball with the right leg and puts it right in the corner, away from the goalkeeper's reach right there. Outstanding. And that's what I was going to talk about, Drew. That's what I was talking about earlier, that if you give players like that time and space, they will kill you. Bottom line.
The 24th goal of the year for Caio Amaral. And it's a 3-2 soccer game. Just like that, he was playing with Andrew Morel with the fancy footwork, and Morel didn't know which way to commit. You're right, Eddie. Space with a player like that can absolutely kill.
Absolutely. So you either take away the ball, don't let the ball get to him, or you take away the space by crowding him close, tight, like a man-to-man marking type of thing. The worst thing you can do is give a talented player like that strong, give him time and space.
And time for the water break, a flurry of action. We've seen 4 goals in this second half after seeing 1 in the previous 2 championship games. Ricky Hogue got it started with the header, and then beginning of the second half, a 2-0 lead off the superstar from Choctaw. But then Cape Coral got it going. The goal by Nathan Stone, and then Caio Amaral, left foot swing to the back of the net. And then this one more centered, little bit of space. The shot, nothing but net.
So now, Drew, we went from a 2-0 game to a 3-2 game.
And it's amazing, worth pointing out that we saw the Seagulls, the Birds, converge on the field, Eddie. They came whenever it was 2-0. Cape Coral, the Seahawks, were trailing. They were being shut out. As soon as the Birds arrived, all of a sudden, the guys in white, Caio Amaral, woke up, scored 3 goals in the past 15
Shot
minutes.
out and nothing was working for them. And now just totally different team, going at people, knocking the ball around, finishing, one-time finishing, outstanding, great effort.
And in the far end zone, the Gaither Cowboys eliminated. Durant, representing Hillsborough County, arriving here at the State Soccer Championships, getting ready for their game against St. Thomas Aquinas. That game is coming up next on Bright House Sports Network. A championship Saturday here at the University of Tampa. We hope you're enjoying it. Nifty footwork. Oscar Camacho in the game right now for Cape Coral. At game 4:30. Amaral, 2 goals for the Seahawks.
So if you're Cape Coral, get the ball, give it to Amaral. He's inspiring second half. He knows what to do. He's poised. He wants the state title. Just give him the ball. He'll take care of the rest.
He really knows how to use his height as well, Eddie. He's got the ball right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not a small kid, but very crafty, especially for his size. Very technically sound.
Only a junior, so he has another year of high school soccer, or he's going to tear it up next year as well. Paulo Acosta has a yellow card in this game, along with Amaral. Now, some players like Amaral, Eddie, They get the card, and it doesn't affect them at all. It may even motivate them to do greater things.
And that is the difference between a skillful player, a player who's been around, a mature player. There we see him going down the line. You know, it's almost like it's a change player now.
Trying to center it. And now Michael Lightbourne. Choctaw just needs a good offensive possession, and they need a good strike. As Hogue racing collides with the goalie, and the ball loose. Hogue is going to get yellow.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get a yellow card. Keeper had possession of the ball. He still went through, tried to challenge the keeper. Here we see it's a great through ball. He goes and challenges. Once the keeper touches the ball and has possession of the ball, you're not going to be able to touch him in the box.
So North Florida's Player of the Year on the sideline right now, shaking his head, a little bit frustrated. Had some great moments in this game, but Cape Coral has really kept it out of their possession in the last 15 minutes.
Drew, are you ready for your tactical question of the game?
Hang on 1 second. Let me brace myself.
I'll give you an extra 2 minutes and then you can.
Okay, go for it. I'm ready.
All right, so looking at the clock, 17 minutes left, 3-2 in the game. You are, what would you do? As a coach, right now, same circumstances, what would you do?
If I'm Choctaw?
Yep.
Right now, I just keep doing what I'm doing. I definitely get Hogue back into the game immediately, which he is doing right now. He's not going to be on the sideline very long, so that's number one. Now, he is such a superstar. I'm not going to go as far as to say he's a one-man team, but I think he's definitely the best scoring threat. You got to figure out a way to get the ball in his possession.
Absolutely right. Get him the ball, but he's gonna need some help this late in the game. He's been running around the whole game, and at some point you're gonna have to put an extra forward up front, go with 3 in the back, time the middle of the field, and you got to get some offense here. They've had 2 chances, 2 goals, but they've been more of an individual effort by him. He's such a great striker, but you got to get numbers up. This is the last 16 minutes of your season here, so you have to go for it at some point.
Now, what scares you about that, Eddie, is Cape Coral's had so many chances in the second half, and altogether they've just looked better offensively than Choctaw has here this afternoon. Even though Choctaw had a 2-0 lead at one point, it's been pretty much dictated pretty much all by one guy.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's just, you know, that it's a testament to his ability to score goals. However, as a team, they haven't been able to click. They haven't been able to put, you know, string passes together, get to the offensive third. So, and you know, that's been the missing point for them. And that is the only problem with playing with one great striker. Yeah, he's great and all, but he needs help. You know, he's going against 4 defenders. You know, the Seahawks are playing with a flat back 4, and there's just too many players to go around.
Keep an eye on Daniel Villamil in goal for Cape Coral, pointing out the assignments. Very tall and blossoming 6'2" in the net for the Seahawks. He's been scored on twice here today. Lightbourne gives it a ride. Kept in by the Seahawks. So much action we've seen here today.
So that was only one half of the question. So what would you do if you're the Seahawks? 3-2 up with 15 left in the game.
Oh. Bring another man up?
You sit back and play defense?
I don't think so. Maybe till about the 10-minute mark, Eddie. And then, as Hogue takes another shot, saved by Villamil. I think it was sailing just wide. He is so good that I think you want to at least give him some more chances. Try and get as many minutes without changing your attack as you possibly can. Am
Absolutely.
I right?
Yeah, you're right. But you got to give him the ball. You got to find a way to give him the ball. Give him a chance. Give him quality balls as well. Not just thump the ball and see what happens. Put the ball on the ground. Give him a chance to go at people. We saw in the second goal how great he is at taking people on. So give him a chance.
Dominic Jordan. And a tie-up. The whistle comes out. A free kick coming up for Cape Coral. And when you look at this Seahawks season, they started the season at 9-0, averaged over 4 goals a game. Good firepower. 2 straight ties in this 2010-2011 season. The South Fort Myers and Fort Myers eventually lost the district title game to Fort Myers. 3 consecutive 1-goal wins to advance to the Final Four. Eddie, as the ball sails out of bounds, this attack for Cape Coral and their head coach Aldo Nardiello. Coach Nardiello, great story, Eddie. He actually sat out last year. So one of his players, number 4, Ronald Lind, could compete his sophomore soccer season. There is a rule in Florida that if you play for a coach during club, you cannot play for that same coach during the high school season. Either the coach or the player has to sit out. Well, that happened, the conflict with Lind and with Coach Nardiello. Instead of Nardiello staying in there and in his profession and Lind finding another school, Coach Nardiello took a step back and said, Ronald, I want you to play your sophomore year. How about that as far as sacrifice is concerned from head coach to player?
Wow, that's great. And he shows, you know, the coach being very unselfish when it comes down to the players. So that's great. That's what you want to do. Wow, that's impressive. I never heard of that.
Ronald Lind, a clutch finisher on this Cape Coral team. I've never heard of that either, but Coach Nardiello joked. He said, I needed the year off of soccer. I actually went to my doctor to get a checkup, and the doctor asked me, he said, Aldo, how come your blood pressure is down and you're so healthy?
He said, I'm not coaching anymore.
He said, because I've taken the year off.
That's it.
Coaching Cape Coral.
So it worked out well.
But he is happy to be back, and it has just been a joy this season coaching these young men. Is the shot taken by Acosta, and Trapper, they're diving to the left side for the save.
That's a great here we see, you know, Cape Coral doing what they do best, controlling the ball, cuts the ball back to the inside, takes a shot, keeper with a full extension. That's a great save. So Drew, to answer the other half of the question, you're absolutely right. You do not let up. You do not play defense if you're Cape Coral. The best defense is your offense, so you got to keep doing what you're doing. Put them on their heels. There's only 11 minutes left in the game. Go at them. Go at them. Make them play defense rather than come and, you know, play offense. But you got to keep possession of the ball. Use your midfields a lot more. Use the width. You know, this is a big field, University of Tampa. It's 80-bit. We've been talking about it all weekends. You know, 80 yards wide, so you have to be able to use that. Take him side to side, kill the clock, keep the ball on your feet, and whenever it's on, go forward. Hopefully you can put the 4th goal in the back of the net.
Now, if you're a goalie in this situation for Cape Coral, Daniel Villamil, do you try to stay at home more, being that you've got the lead, you're trying to protect that lead, make them earn it? Here come the Indians.
As a goalkeeper, not really. If it's on for you to come out, you got to come out. I mean, you're the only player in there who can use their hands. So if you can come out and utilize that more, you have to do it. You cannot stay home, you know, dictated by what the scoreboard says. I mean, if you need to come out, you got to come out and win it.
Tyler Thoreau backpedaling. Paulo Acosta. Last thing Choctaw wants to do is give Cape Coral any more looks here.
And here we see the maturity of the player. Holding the ball, stepping on it, killing time, drawing 2 players. That's when you want to kill the clock.
Under 10 minutes left to go in this game. Class 4A championship on the line. There's Coach Aldo Nardiello. Told the story about him giving up his coaching season last year. Just inspirational. Coach Nardiello is from Brooklyn, New York, and Eddie, he was a college coach, coached at the University of Albany for 14 seasons, then came down to the high school game and Well, you love to see coaches go from college to high school. They bring their expertise to pass it on to the youth.
Yeah, and it's such a different game, the college game and the high school game, that it's good to see a coach that comes down from the college ranks to the high school ranks, because they bring so much knowledge, especially somebody who's been coaching for 15 years at that level.
Ricky Hogue with 2 goals. Trying to get control of the ball. He says, I love to hold it and get my guys in position. As that had a near goal written all over it.
And that is a great turn. We see him holding, shielding the ball. He does hold the ball with his body really, really well. See him turn. He's a left-footed player, so he turns to that side, hits the ball well. He's a little bit too far out, but he does really well. Which takes me to my next point. If you give him the ball, if you give the guy a chance, he will score. He's a natural goal scorer. He's got 42 goals in the season. You got to find a way to give him the ball.
Eddie, it is amazing too, because when he add his back to the goal, you watch him, you're like, he's got no chance, and he finds a way to at least threaten.
Right, and there's an art of being a target for, and that's what he does, and he does it very well. He knows how to use his body. He knows where the defender is. He knows where the goal is, and that's why he's able to spin off and take a quick shot.
Nathan Stone wears number 11 for Cape Coral. 1 goal for him and 2 for Kyle Amaral. That's where we stand, 3-2, as Amaral weaving his way through the defense. Another shot off the top of the post. Close by a whisker.
And that's what keeping the pressure does. Keep them in their half, create stuff, take shots. Came off the crossbar, and now we go counterattack the other way. It's a great game.
Indians just high. Dominic Jordan had the angle, but the sophomore just kicked it a little bit high.
So here we see Amaral doing a 1-2 between 2 players. Ball gets loose, takes a shot, hits the crossbar. Second shot, blocked, go the other way.
Dominic Jordan, number 22, 8 goals on the year. I like the intensity, the fact that other guys beside Ricky Hogue are at least getting shots on goal.
And that's what you want to see. You want to see shots coming from different angles, different players. You want to show the variety of, weapons you have.
Corner, and on the ground is Nathan Stone. Let's take one more look. A little bit of acting job by Stone.
A little bit of both. That's a great way to kill the time, especially in your offensive third. You're 80 yards away from your goal.
Amaral trying to outfight defenders. Seahawks so crafty with it. Stone trying to tee it up. Oh, collision. 2 players down. Now Stone pops back up. Davison gets the Indians into their offense.
There's Rick.
And here's Ricky Hogue. This is the guy that they do not want to have the ball. No calls. No whistles, and Hogue can't believe it.
Can't believe it either. It looked like a penalty kick, especially when he cut the ball to the left side, and it almost looks like the defender was holding him. So crafty, always aware well of surroundings. He takes 2 players on, cuts the ball to the inside, and right as he's trying to go, that's a tough call. It's a tough call because the defender never lost sight of the ball. That's what you want to do as a defender. The minute you take your eye off the ball and you're looking at the player, that's when you're going to get called for intentionally trying to grab, trying to push, or trying to gain the advantage over the forward.
technically, Eddie, in that situation, a good job by that guy right there, Olivier Benedict, of not getting called, keeping his head on the target.
Absolutely, and all he did, he put his body between, Rick and the ball, which is what you want to do. You're not grabbing him, you're not holding him, but you're actually, keeping him from getting to the ball.
Stone trying to shed defenders, and he'll stay with Cape Coral. Benedict is Cape Coral's star defenseman, and he has been all over Ricky Hogue in this second half of play. The shutdown man for Cape Coral. He is used, Eddie, to shutting down other teams' star. His coach, Aldo Nardiello, says his play is absolutely key here this afternoon. Now, Hogue has 2 goals. He's not been shut down, but he's been contained at least in the second half.
Absolutely. A lot of the times you're not going to be able to completely shut him out, but if you can contain him, obviously if you want to keep him down to a minimum, and he's done that. It's a great marking back, very powerful player. You can tell he knows how to use his body. He's not afraid of getting hit or hitting, and he's done a good job.
Kyle Amaral will take it from the corner, and clearly just taking time off the clock.
And that's what I was telling you before, Drew. Players with experience know how to do that. They're looking at the clock right behind them, 3:27. They're going to step on the ball. They're going to kill the time. And also what they're doing, they can draw a foul right there.
Amaral clearly trying to draw the penalty. Nothing doing. 3 minutes left to go in what has been a thrilling game. Dominic Jordan. Does Choctaw have 1 or perhaps 2 good runs left? This is Colton Bales. And it sails over to the goalie, Daniel Villamil.
The problem becomes now for them they're looking at the clock, they're gonna get antsy. They need to keep their calm and their cool. All they need is 1.
Choctaw has to win those battles from here on out, Eddie.
They have to. They have to keep the ball inbounds. It's funny how things turn. Before we were talking about all they need to do is keep the ball out of bounds, keep the clock management. Now they have to do the opposite. They need to keep the ball in bounds, keep it in play, keep the ball, and go forward with it. Trying to get a couple of chances as we see the counter now.
That's not who they want to have the ball either. Amaral has it kicked out. It stays with Cape Coral on the throw-in.
Amaral, who single-handedly changed this game with 2 great goals.
Cape Coral High School, before they left for Tampa in these state championships, they had a grand send-off at the school. The cheerleaders, the faculty, all the students bid farewell to the buses as they departed campus and traveled north here to Tampa. Again, the first state championship in any sport, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whether it's track and field, whether it's baseball. Cape Coral has never celebrated or never been able to say that they are the best in the state.
I have a feeling if they win it, their welcome home is going to be even better for their send-off.
Well, rarely do you see cheerleaders at a soccer game, but that is the case here with Cape Coral. 25 seconds to hang on, and the crowd comes alive for the Seahawks. Coach Aldo Nardiello counting down the moments. The Seahawks from Cape Coral, Class 4A state soccer champions, behind 2 goals from Caio Amaral. Head coach Aldo Nardiello has led his team towards the promised land, and they've reached it for the first time. 3-2 the final. We're back to Pepin Stadium after this.
Game 1 of Championship Saturday is in the books, and it belongs to Cape Coral. The Seahawks have reached the promised land, a state title, the first state championship in any sport at Cape Coral High School. And we're joined now by the young man who led the way. 2 goals for Caio Amaral. Congratulations. 4 years ago, you came to this country, did not speak a word of English, did not know if it was going to work out. Now you're a state champion. How do you feel?
I mean, it's always great to feel like that. I mean, you know, I want to bring the soccer, you know, to America, and you know, I just want everybody to love soccer here because that's one of the most important sports in the world. So, thank you very much.
What did your coach tell you? We saw him talking to you on the sideline. He took you out of the game. We saw that he talked to you. What did he tell you to get you inspired? By then, you guys were down 2-0. What did he say to you?
Yeah, I mean, he told me not to play too fancy, you know, feed my teammates, feed them off the ball, and, you know, run to space and make those runs because in the end it will reward us.
Right. How did you feel scoring the second goal? The first one was great, but the second one to put your team back in the game?
I mean, I just felt great. I mean, I did this for my region, and, you know, I did this for the Seahawks and for Cape Coral. So.
You're going to win a lot of championships, probably on a lot of different levels. You play club soccer, play for your country. Where does a state championship for your high school weigh in?
I mean, that's in the bottom of my heart always. I mean, it will stay there, and I mean, from now on, we're always united. With that state title, we're always united now.
How about the tambourine, man? Did that thing help you out too?
Yeah, I mean, that's the first tournament I bring it to, and I also brought a Brazilian ball too. So, I mean, everybody play around with it and the buzz and everything. So
what is the purpose of that? Do you play with it before the game? Do you get your team pumped? Do you use that in the locker room?
I mean, I just see the Brazilian national team, and I'm inspired by them, and I see them playing tambourine, and you know, the samba. It's always famous with us, and I mean, I'm just inspired by them.
Congratulations.
Final question. Your head coach, Aldo Nardiello, now last year sat out when Ricky Lind, they had to kind of pick and choose. What has he meant to your soccer program?
I mean, he means a lot, and I know he always wants to win, as we always do. And the coach that he brought in was a very good friend of us, and he did a great job also. But Coach Aldo came back in with that hunger to win states.
Well, congratulations to you, Caio, okay?
Thank you, sir.
And Coach, come on in here and enjoy this. A great win, and wow, a breathtaking game, down 2-0 when you're trailing. Phenomenal player on the other side in Ricky Hogue. What do you tell your team? Because a bunch of young guys, but they hung in there. They never lost their composure.
At halftime, we stuck to the principle, don't abandon the things that brought you here. So even though we were down, we needed to make sure that teams sometimes have a tendency of playing individualistically when they're behind. So we had to stay on our passing game and our possession and our teamwork to have any chance of coming back. And obviously, individual brilliant plays make a difference too, obviously.
You know, Coach, we talked about that during transmission, and we kept saying that you had the team, especially technically and tactically, to do that. We saw you guys never panic. We talked about you guys doing the same things that you usually do. You were just missing the final third. After you talked to the boys, how do you think they reacted?
You know, we've been through 3 overtimes, 3 sudden death overtimes, 2 penalty shootouts. So they've been exposed to pressure. And I think one of the good things about having such a young team, so many juniors, there's always that sense, well, you know, there's always next year too. So we didn't have that sense of panic that, you know, this is it, this is our last chance. So the junior overachievers.
Coach, you're a history teacher. You said you wanted this for history. Now you have it. How does it feel?
What can I tell you? We're so honored. You know, we represent the city of Cape Coral. We're the only high school that has the name of our city. So we carry the name of our beloved city, and we have represented our city with a championship. So we couldn't be more elated and more proud. We are Cape Coral.
Coach Nardiello, former coach at Albany, now the head coach at Cape Coral High School. Congratulations,
Thank you
Coach.
so much. Thank you so much. And thank you to the fans. They were unbelievable out here. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
Congratulations,
you, Coach. Congratulations.
Coach. A state championship for Cape Coral High School. Eddie Rodriguez, final thoughts from the University of Tampa. What a game.
It was a great game. We saw both teams doing what they do best. You know, it's an outstanding game. We got goals. We got what we wanted to see. It was great.
I think more drama in this game than the other two games, 2A and 3A. Of course, the lack of scoring in those games provided that, but just excitement from one moment to the next. One game in the books on this championship Saturday. Still Class 5A and Class 6A to come. For right now, it's all the Seahawks. Cape Coral High School state champions for the first time in any sport. For the entire Bright House Sports Network crew and Eddie Rodriguez, I'm Drew Felios. The Seahawks, state champs. We will see you next time from the University of Tampa Class 5A game coming up in just a bit. Take care.